I am going to look at a transmission. It's 2 hours away, and I'm gonna take a little road trip and check out a 4R70W. You know, I've had the old C4 in my Bronco since I bought it. It's the original C4. It has some trouble shifting. It doesn't like to shift from second to third. It kind of jumps back to first and then goes into third. It has a pretty good leak on the main seal. You know, I've toyed around with the idea of just rebuilding my C4, and maybe I still will, but I really want something with overdrive. I want something that handles a little bit nicer on the freeway, something that I can still take wheeling, and it handles well with that. With the early Broncos, there's so many options of different transmissions that you can get, automatics, manuals. I wanted to stay with an automatic, so the main ones that I was looking at, obviously the C4, that's what I have in there. C6, which is still a 3-speed, it's not an overdrive. The AOD, Ford's evolution of the C4, pretty similar to the C4 gearing with an overdrive gear. The AOD-E, and basically that just made the AOD transmission shift electronically. Then you have the 4R70W, pretty much the AOD body. The W in the 4R70W stands for wide. It stands for wider gears. And then you can also go to like the GM Chevy route and get the 700R4. The cool thing about the 700R4 is it has wider gears than the 4R70W, but it doesn't need an external electronic controller to control it. So a little bit cheaper route with the 700R4, but I just don't know how I feel about putting a GM product in my Bronco. But there's 3 other components that are affecting your speed and RPMs, your trail manners versus your highway manners. Your transmission, 1, you have your transfer case, number 2, especially for you off-road guys, and then number 3, you have your gears in your axle. Right now I have, the 350s in my axle. What I'm looking at doing is going up to 411s or 456. I have 35-inch tires. I love to go off-roading. I can have bigger tires with the 456, and with the overdrive, it's still going to be able to drive on the freeway. And if you're trying to pick transmission or gears or anything like that, I'll put a link to a pretty handy little gear ratio chart kind of thing that just kind of helps you look at, okay, if I have this transmission and these gears and these tires, how fast am I going to be going? What's my first gear going to look like? What's my second gear going to look like? And all that kind of stuff. Also, I'm going to put a link in the description below, so make sure to check it out, to the article on classicbroncos.com that talks about all the different transmissions, what it takes to swap them in, what the differences are, and it also has a really cool chart on each of the gear ratios for your transmissions, because I only have 140 horsepower on my Bronco, probably a little bit more now. I'm going to be adding a cam to it, going to be putting the headers on there, so I'll get a little bit more torque and a little bit more horsepower out of it, but still it's a pretty weak engine, and it's, eventually I'll swap it for something with a little bit more power. So, if Blueprint Crate Motors is watching, I would love to swap in one of your engines for the right price. I was searching on Craigslist and I actually found a 4R70W. The guy had it posted for 250 bucks, and I just emailed him and said, hey, would you take 150 for it? And he was like, sure. And so I'm going down to look at it right now. He says it's the V8 bell housing. I'm gonna do a little research when I get there to make sure that it is. But the reason that you need the V8 bell housing is so that it'll actually mount up to your 302. But if you look at this image, you can see the differences in the two bell housings, and so it's pretty easy to tell which transmission you're getting, but they're both called the same thing. So it really is important that you know what your transmission came out of and all that stuff. You know, what I'm gonna do when I get there is I'm gonna really make sure that it is in fact the right bell housing. That was it. I think I just passed it. Looks like it's it. Good, I'm done.
I'm Austin. Yeah, you're here to get that trans?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, what is it? Alright, there it is in all its glory. Got it in the garage, and here it will sit until I can put it in. For any of you guys who've done this before, let me know what I should be looking for. Let me know what I should watch out for. And thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good one.